I want to talk to you about some keys to success. I just read a book called I've talked about. It's called Think Like a Winner by Dr. Walter Doyle Staples. I've read a lot of books, as you know. Every time I come up, I'm always recommending another book, and most of you go, "Oh God, Hector, another one." I haven't even read the 400 books you already recommended that you really need to read more than once. It's not a book you'd read once, because it's some of it's deep, but mostly it's really getting yourself to think like a winner. And this is really what this is about. I try to put this in terms of because I've asked this before. It's just, I ask people, what is the most important thing about being successful? What is the single most important thing? And I hear things like discipline, work ethic, motivation, people skills, lots of different things. But the truth is, the most important thing is how you think. And you've heard me say this a million times, but you're exactly where your thought process has got you to this point. The difference between a person that's highly successful and the person that's medium successful is really the way we think about how everything happens to us. Because all of you are, let me ask you a question. How many of you have some kind of a challenge or problem that you're dealing with as you sit here right now in your life? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you don't have one single problem or challenge you're dealing with right now? Okay, so every single one of us has some issue that we're dealing with right now, right? Regardless of how small or how big it is. The issue is that the point here is that every one of us have them. We're always going to have them. I don't care what kind of income you make. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background, what your religion is. It doesn't matter what your sex is. None of that is relevant. You're going to have them, okay? The only thing the thing that separates people from doing very well from people that are doing just okay is how you approach and what you think about those problems. It's not that you have them, okay? It's never that you have them. It's always your approach, your mental approach, your attitude to it that makes the difference. And whenever you decide to come to terms with that, whenever you finally decide you're going to accept that, that's when your life's going to take off, folks. And some of you just haven't done that yet. Some of you you're still blaming me for why you're not doing well. You're still blaming your parents why you're not doing well. You're still blaming your wife or your husband or what happened before why you're not doing well. And the truth is, none of that's the reason. None of that is the reason. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with your attitude. So you must think attitude if you want to think like a winner. People and things don't upset us. Rather, we upset ourselves by believing that they can upset us. The things that upset you about what people do, I don't ever get upset by it. Honestly, I just go, I look at what people do, and I'm always looking at with amusement with how they function. More than any other single factor in your life, your particular manner of thinking, referred to as your attitude, determines how you feel and the way you behave. Because how you approach your life is really in relation to what your attitude is. Like if you look at people in your base shop, have you ever seen those people like tonight, if you have an op meeting, you'll have people standing out front waiting for their guests, right? They're waiting, right? They invited 10 people and they're waiting and waiting and waiting and no one shows up, right? It happens all the time. It's happened to me a million times, right? I've invited all these people and no one showed up. I just did a meeting for DAC up in Santa Barbara about a month ago or so, and we had 42 confirmations and we had 6 people show up, okay? 42 people said, yes, I will be there, and 6 showed up out of 42. That's for DAC and I, okay? When I was talking to DAC about that, my attitude was, you know what, DAC, if we have 3, 4, 5, or 6 people show up, I'll consider that a success. My attitude about the thing wasn't like, oh my God, we invited 42 said they were going to come, only 6 showed up. This doesn't work. What a loser I am. I have no shot at this. We might as well throw in the towel. We can't build it up here in Santa Barbara. People don't want to be successful here. That wasn't the attitude. The attitude was, that's what it is. We'll take what we can get. We'll build off of that. And the next time we'll invite more, and we'll just keep on grinding until we get it done. Right? We're not going to worry about that. That's the number. Some of you haven't come to terms with those numbers yet, and you're fighting it, and you got to stop it. Start talking to somebody, would you? Start getting off your rear end and get busy. Look, I mean, it's your life that's passing by here. This 10 years went by like a heartbeat, right? 1990, it's 2000. We're at the end of 2001. Remember the other day where everybody was worried about Y2K, right? Well, guess what? It's November, 14th or 15th, I don't know what the day is, and it's going to be the 31st, and we're going to be in 2001, and you're still going to be worrying, how can I get this going? You got to personally get busy. And I'm not going to stop saying this. I know some of you hearing me saying, you always say that. That's all you talk about. Because you haven't got it yet, most of you. You must believe, you must think belief if you want to think like a winner. Now, have confidence in yourself. You obtain confidence through preparation. The more thorough your preparation, the greater your confidence. Look at the reason most people don't do well is not because they're not capable. It's because of the pathetic preparation that they do. They don't do enough preparation. You know that you've had appointments where you sat down and you really went through all the numbers. You put together an awesome F&A. You got all kinds of historical illustrations, and you just really busted your rear end to put together an incredible presentation, and you went and closed it, right? And then you've had appointments where you didn't do that, where you just winged it, and it sucked, right? And so the preparation, when you're prepared, you go in, you're going, this is done, man. If they don't buy this, they're idiots, right? I mean, and you're in there, you're going in there totally confident, right? But when you don't prepare, you're going in there with one arm tied behind your back, okay? And so really the truth is, for all of you, for everyone that's ever going to hear this, the key to your success is always going to lie in how prepared you are for that success. Do you have a leadership deficiency right now? Well, how much energy have you expended in preparing and growing your leadership ability? Do you have a problem with recruiting? Well, how much energy have you expended to master every little nuance of how to recruit an individual? If you have a problem with meeting attendance, what have you done personally? What's your preparation to make sure that you've done everything you can do to get that meeting attendance, or whatever the case may be? It's always lies in the preparation. The one thing we can control is the preparation. The outcome we're not sure of because, we're dealing with humans and humans do weird things. But you can control your preparation level. And if you do all you can do in the area of preparation, folks, you're going to have a lot of success. You just are, okay? There are two ways to slide easily through life: to believe everything or to doubt everything. Both ways save us from thinking. Some people believe everything, right? We don't want to deal with those people because they're gullible, right? And then some people are so cynical, they doubt every single thing and they can't believe anything, so they don't do a damn thing, right? I mean, both of those are wrong. You need to think. So if you want to grow your belief, the only way, I've been dealing with human beings and training people for almost 22 years now, folks. In that time period, the only thing I've seen that helps people grow their belief is their level of preparation and them acting. Those are the two things. You prepare and act, and that's how you grow belief. There is no other way that I've seen that you can grow your belief without preparation and acting, okay? So if you want your people to start believing in themselves more, you better be preparing them, okay? You better be training them. You better be making sure they know how to do things. One of the reasons I've always was hammered you all about Hopkins, right? I mean, Steve, you'll never forget that conversation I had with you, right? I made sure you got that down because I knew if you got that, if you were prepared in that area, you could close, you're going to stay in our business. And if you didn't, you weren't, okay? So preparation. Third, you must think goals. You've heard that this morning, or you to think like a winner. This is a great little thing. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, 4 BC to 65 AD. This is a long time ago. This is an awesome thing. He was a Roman statesman, a writer, a Stoic philosopher. He said, our plans miscarry because they have no aim. When a man or a woman does not know what harbor or goal, right, he is making for, no wind is the right wind. When you're not totally clear about what you're trying to do, one of the things that I would recommend you do, and this is one of the things I've done, okay, over the years, and I was just talking to one of my regional leaders, Martin Flores, and I talked about this on Saturday. You should have your goals written out. One of the things that when I was like, I was making, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand a month, and I was trying to get this thing going. And I used to go to the desert a lot. We'd go take, like every 6 weeks or so, Jan and I would take off on Saturday afternoon, right after the meeting, and we take Dak and Janae. They were little at that time. We'd go to the desert. We'd stay in a hotel. And we tried to get a room that was right next to the swimming pool, so that the kids could go out and swim and stuff. And then we'd go there, and we'd get there like maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'd go to the movies, go to a nice dinner. The next morning, we'd get up and we'd order room service. They'd order the LA Times. They'd bring it to the room. We'd lie in bed. The kids would go swimming. We just lie there and just like act like we were rich, okay? And then we didn't have any money at that time. And we would do that. And then after we'd get ready, and we'd leave the hotel about noon or so. We'd go have lunch, and then we would go to maybe 3 or 4 different country clubs, because they're always selling model homes, right? They're trying to get people to buy homes there, and we'd go look at them. We'd get all the brochures, and we'd look at, and they're all decorated professionally, and they were just awesome, right? Everyone, and they'd have these beautiful landscapes and waterfalls, and just awesome, right? And I'd have these pictures, and I knew exactly what I wanted, man. I wanted a house on a golf course so bad, I couldn't even tell you. And then on that evening, we'd be driving back, and it would be just a glorious day like today. These weather lately, I'm in the desert right now, it's just glorious. And I would be driving back on Sunday night after having a really nice weekend with my family out in the desert, right, and dreaming. And I would be thinking, oh my God, I cannot wait until I can be in a place financially where if I want to stay for another week or another 2 weeks, I don't have to go back and go train greenies and do all the stuff that I have to do, right? I remember I thinking that, right? And so that used to motivate me like crazy, that I said, okay, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get busy. I'm going to make more phone calls. I'm going to get this thing going so that I can get my business to the point where there'll be a day when if I don't want to come back, I don't ever have to come back if I don't feel like it. Anybody with me on that? You know what I'm talking about, okay? And so that was a big time motivation for me, folks. I had a goal there. I was very clear about it. I knew exactly what I wanted. I had it in writing. I had it in my car on my sun visor. I had it where I got ready in the morning. I had it in my wallet. I had it in my planner. I had goals everywhere. And if I was you, I was talking to Martin, he came with this idea, he printed out his goals, and I said, look, what you ought to do is you get with your team, you have your team put all their goals together, have them give them to you, put them on a computer, you print them all out, give them like 10 copies each, and you tell them, put one by your mirror where you get up in the morning, put one on your ceiling, he uses his idea, over your bed, put one when you walk out the front door, put one, in your closet where you get ready, put one in your car, put one everywhere, right? Where you see those goals 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day, where you're reading them, you're thinking them, because what happens is this. When you're totally focused on your goals like that, when you're everywhere where you can't get away from them, right? And you're thinking about them constantly, what happens is your subconscious takes over, and it starts helping you recognize opportunity and take advantage of them. There's no way to explain how this works. I don't even know how to explain how it works. All I know is it does work. And you know what's the saddest thing? I just told you what you all do, and almost none of you will do it today. That's the saddest part of what I just said right now. I just told you exactly what you should do, and you'll let life get in the way, and you won't do it, and next month you'll go, man, I didn't have as good a month as I wanted to. I'm telling you, if you would do that, your mind is the most powerful tool on earth. It will help you do that. But you've got to keep reminding it, because whatever the dominant thoughts are in your mind is what comes to pass in your life. It's happened to me over and over and over, folks. I'm telling you, I've lived this. This is what's happened to me. I implore you to do that today, not tomorrow, not next week, today sometime. Before you go to bed tonight, put your goals, put them everywhere. If your wife or husband think you're a nut, so be it, okay? But do it, okay? Fourth thing is you must think responsibility if you want to think like a winner. See, destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for. It is a thing to be achieved. I mean, William Jennings Byron said this between 1860 and 1925. You should study the causes in your life much more closely than the effects, since they alone hold the prospect for improvement and meaningful change. In other words, if your business is where it's at, what's the cause of that? Is because if you have a $5 or $10 or $15,000 base shop, what's the cause of that $5 or $10,000 base shop? Is it because you don't prospect enough and you're not teaching people to prospect? Is it because you don't invite a lot of people to the meeting and you want everybody else to do it? Is it because your focus is somewhere else? Is it because you're feeling sorry for yourself? Is it because, who knows? I don't know what it is. Okay, you know what it is, but you should study the causes of your situation. For every result, there's a cause for that result, okay? So whatever your business is right now, there's a cause for that. It's something that you're doing or not doing that's causing that situation. And if you want to change the end result, you've got to change what's causing it. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. Be introspective. Be honest with yourself. Would you please look at yourself with honesty for once? Forget about being judged. Just say, what am I doing or not doing? What do I need to do and from a cause standpoint, to create a different effect? And then get busy doing that. Don't wait for somebody to tell you to do it. Stop waiting for somebody to inspire you. You don't need somebody to inspire you. Inspire yourself for once, right? You must think time if you want to think like a winner. Look, dost thou love life, then do not squander time, for that is the stuff life is made of. Benjamin Franklin said that. Look at, time is the only commodity allocated equally to all rich and poor. It really is. I mean, you've heard that before, but it's true. It's the one thing you and I have totally in common. We have 24 hours, you and I do. When I got in Primerica, when I had nobody on my team, when I was by myself, when I had just quit my job and I sold my candy store, and the people that were going to buy my candy store didn't pay me, right? And I had to pay that. All I had were 24 hours, just like you had 24 hours. When I was worried and nervous, just like some of you are right now, I had the same 24 hours. The difference is that how we use that 24 hours. We all have the same amount. How effective are you with that time? See, time management involves setting priorities and disciplining yourself. You know, look, you know how undisciplined you are, right? You know that's really the key. I was talking to Doug Sorchilla. We were just talking. He goes, the difference between me and you, Hector, you're just more disciplined than me. I don't think he'd mind saying me that. He's just what he said. And the truth is, I am not smarter than anybody in here. I don't have anything over anybody in here. I promise you, when it comes to doing the right things, I probably am much, much more disciplined than most of you, okay? But that doesn't take intelligence to be disciplined. That just takes a decision, see? To be disciplined, like yesterday, I was busy all day doing stuff, right? And it was getting late, and I still hadn't done my leg workout, because Monday's my leg workout. And I'm thinking, I'm normal. I'm going, oh, I'm just gonna miss it today. It's just enough, it's just, I'll make it up later on in the week. I started talking to myself like this, right? I'm trying to talk myself, rationalize why I shouldn't do my leg workout on Monday, because it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and for me, that's late to be working out. And then I said, Hector, what the hell are you doing, right? You get off your ass, get changed, get over to the gym, and get that leg workout in. And I just, instead of mulling over it, right, I just got up, got dressed, and went and did it, right? Now, if that would have been me making a phone call to go recruit somebody, or driving over and dropping my suit, it's the same thing. It's just getting yourself to do it right then and not put it off. Because after I finished that workout, you know what? I felt better about me. Right when I finished that, I said, all right, that's why you're a winner right there, is because you felt the same feeling everybody else feels, right? with mediocre people, but you didn't succumb to that feeling. You didn't give in to that feeling. You fought it and you went and did it anyways. That's the difference, folks, between becoming really successful and being average and ordinary right there. That's it right there. It's that little talk that you're having with yourself right there when you know you should make the call, when you know you should do something, and you either do it or you don't do it. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the man or the woman is made right there. And you know you have those many times a day. That's the difference right there. So time management, folks, is really self-management. People ask me, well, how do you manage your time? Well, what you need to do is in the evening, you need to prioritize what's going to happen the following day. If you get up in the morning and you don't know what's going to happen that day, you're dead before you start. One of the things that I always did is the evening before, the day before, I had my full day mapped out, who I was going to call, when I was going to make the calls. The phone numbers were right on my day timer, so I knew the phone, so I didn't have to make the excuse, well, I don't have the number, right, to call this person or whatever. Everything was right there, so I just went right to it, and I got busy. The minute the bell rang, boom, I'm off to the races, right? I knew specifically exactly what I was going to do. There was no day that was ambiguous. Every day was planned out from morning to midnight, all right? I knew exactly what I was doing, and then I was just disciplining myself to follow that plan, and I forgot about everything else, and I did that day after day after day after day after day, and then I looked around. 5 years later, I turn around and go, wow, I'm financially independent. That's incredible. And you know what? That's where all of you are at right there. It's the same story, right? And what I'm telling you is what I did isn't magic, and anybody could do it. What I did is I had all the things, my appointments, people to call, things to do. I had them all in my day timer, and then as I did them, I just highlighted them out. Boom, 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 because I could look right away and I could see done, 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 done. And if there were things that weren't highlighted, I needed to get it done. Because I was answering to me. I was answering to me, not to my wife, not to my upline, to me. That was a statement of who I was. That was my character. That was my credibility. That's how I was able to feel good about myself so I could be attractive to other people. Most of you don't do half of what you should be doing, so you feel like crap about yourself, so you're not attractive. And when you're sitting down with somebody, folks, you know how you recruit somebody? You recruit them to you. I have never once in my life recruited anybody to Primerica or Citigroup. Never. Never did I recruit somebody to the company. I recruited everybody to me. And if you're not doing everything you can to have integrity and character and do all the right things, how can you with conscience recruit somebody to you? Huh? How can you do it? That's why most of you struggle. It's so easy to fix. You can fix it today. Today you can fix it. Have a problem with it again as long as you live. Or you can keep on blaming things outside you. You must think personal development if you want to think like a winner. Look, if you dedicate yourself to a program of personal development and growth, nothing can stop you from moving ahead in your life. Nothing. Nothing can stop you. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. It's not if, it's just when. You know, your timetable is your timetable. It's not someone else's. Right? It's just yours. Don't worry about everybody else, what everyone else is doing. We bring people up here that are doing well. Hey, instead of comparing yourself, say, what are they doing that if I implement it in my own life, my own business life, that I can have a similar result? Don't compare yourself. You're not Mark Cox, right? You're not me. You're not Rick Susie or Mark Younger. You're you. You're just you. Whatever you accomplish is a direct result of your efforts to improve yourself, since no one can possibly care more about you than you care about yourself. Nobody cares more about you than you. I mean, no one's ever going to care more about you than you. You want everybody to care about you and all that. But the truth is, your wife is never going to care more about you than you. Your kids aren't going to care more about you than you. Because that's just the way we are. We're made up as human beings. Everyone, our first inclination is self-preservation. That's not bad. That's just the way life is. Okay? That's a reality. Right? Anybody that thinks any differently, you're in a la-la land, okay? That's the way it is. So if that's the case, then it all rests with us individually, right? We need to stop looking outside ourselves for the secret. The secret isn't outside of us. The secret is inside of us. The secret is right in you, not somewhere else. You must think health if you want to think like a winner. Physical, mental, and spiritual. You gotta do it all. I don't mean you have to be a fitness fanatic or a spiritual fanatic or a mental fanatic or any of that. But you know what? You got to work on all those things. It's one of the things I do. I work on all parts of those. Am I perfect? Heck no, not even close. Okay. But my gosh, I really make an effort in all those areas. And I think anybody that's really successful does too. Right? All those things are important. See, it is the last of life for which the first was made. Old age should be the icing on the cake, the dividend years of a full productive life. I've seen both sides, folks. All right. I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, and my family, my entire family, no one had money. Everybody's working class people, right? I mean, vacation was going to Ensenada and camping on the beach, we didn't do things. That was it. I had never been in an airplane until I won a Boca contest in 1984. In December of 84, I was 20, I don't know how old I was. I think I was 22 or 23 years old. Maybe I was older than that, 84. What is that? That's 16 years ago? Yeah, 16 less 43, I don't know. I was 27. No, I was 27, yeah. I'm 27 years old. Was the very first time I was ever on an airplane. And you know what? You don't have to live your old age and struggle in this country. You can have it all. You just can. But it's not easy, right? You got to be disciplined, right? But you can have it all. You must think creativity if you want to think like a winner. Creative intelligence in its various forms and activities are what make man. Just look around you. All the objects you see are the result of the work of some creative human being. Everything. You aren't looking at things, but at thoughts manifested in their physical form. When you see a car, anybody have a favorite car? Right? What's the favorite car? Like if you could dream car right now. Dream car, money's no object. Common sense doesn't enter the equation. What's the car? Huh?
Couple Ferraris.
Ferraris, okay. So when you see a Ferrari, right? A Ferrari is simply someone's thought manifested in physical reality. There's somebody that thought about that car, that design, that whatever, and then they started designing it, and then they started actually putting it, acting on it and making it a physical reality. But every single thing, this overhead, the watch you're wearing, the clothing you're wearing, everything, the car you drive, the house you live in, the office you're in right now, every single thing in your life, when you see something, that originally was a thought in someone's mind. Everything. Hey, my business I have right now, that was a thought in my mind at one time. When I was just getting started, I was thinking about having a business that I have right now. It was a thought. And then I started planning it, and then I started acting on it, and voila. It's a physical. Everything in our life is like that, folks. So you've got to be very careful about what you think about, right? You got to be very clear about what you're thinking about. Very important. It's everything. It's not almost everything. It is everything. You must think service if you want to think like a winner. Give and ye shall receive in kind is the law of cause and effect. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you make a call to set up an appointment and you get an appointment, the cause was the call, right? No call, no appointment, right? When you recruit somebody, it's the presentation and the questions you ask and the commitment you ask for that creates and ends up in a recruit, right? No presentation, no asking of the right questions, no recruit. Everything has a cause and effect. Everything does. So the more service you provide, the more success you will have. The service is the rent you pay for the space you occupy on planet Earth. So right now, what I'm attempting to do right now, and hopefully I'm being somewhat successful, is I'm trying to render service right now. I'm trying to render some thought processes that I believe are the keys to becoming successful here in our lives, right? And so if you feel like there's a lot of service here, then you're going to be coming back, right? If you don't feel service, if you don't feel like I'm offering you meat, something that can effectively help you in some way, right? If you don't feel that, then you're not coming back. It's as simple as that. So if you want people to come back, if you want people to keep coming back to your meetings and wanting to be involved with you, then this is what you have to do. You have to do more for the world than the world does for you. You got to do. You got to give more than the world does for you. And the irony behind that is you end up getting way more. That's the irony behind that. You must think excellence if you want to think like a winner. Only when you attain excellence in your chosen profession can you hope to become truly successful in your business life. Anything less and you cannot hope to reach your full potential. It's really that simple. Like if you don't, if like some of you don't recruit a lot of people, well, the truth is you haven't committed to being excellent as a recruiter. That's the only reason you don't recruit a lot of people. Recruiting people is not a complicated thing, okay? If you were to make a commitment to being excellent in recruiting, you would then become excellent at recruiting. Most of you are excellent at security, or you're excellent at closing life sales, or you're excellent at something, okay? Because you made that decision to become excellent there. If you're not excellent at recruiting, I know there's no question in my mind, you just haven't made the commitment to be excellent at that. That hasn't been your priority, or else you would be. We have a product at a company that's so awesome that everybody should be involved. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, they should. So the market always pays in relation to performance. Always. Our liberals don't like that. Okay. But that's the way the world works. Always has, always will. I just talked, who did I talk about when I first started earlier in the meeting? Tiger Woods, right? What's he getting paid for right now? Because he has a really fabulous smile? No, because of performance. He just had a year of all years, right? Okay, so he's getting paid. He signed a $100 million contract with Nike. American Express pays him $5 million a year to represent American Express. Buick pays him $5 million a year to represent Buick, and on and on and on, okay? Why do they pay him that? Because he gets results, because of his performance. If this next year he misses every cut, doesn't win a tournament, doesn't do well, right? How long are those agreements going to last? Their history, as soon as they can get out of them, they're out of them, folks. It all hinges on performance, 100%. That's why what you did a year ago or 2 years ago, no one gives a crap about. That's why I say, well, I really was on it back when, right? No one cares. No one cares. No one's ever going to care. You think you're going to move your people to that? Hey, folks, it's not going to happen. All right? You can start doing that when you're financially independent. You must think superior human relations if you want to think like a winner. To be able to do things you want to do in both your personal and professional life, you need the support and cooperation of other people. It is largely through your dealings with people that you yourself become successful. The need to feel important is a central driving force in every individual. The art of making people feel good about themselves is what superior human relations actually is. And people have to benefit from agreeing to work with you. If someone's going to agree to work with you, there has to be something in it for them, or it doesn't make any sense. All right. So if you have struggled, if you've had a challenge with getting people to stay around and to function while they're here, one of the problems I would imagine is that you have a human relations problem. In other words, it may not be even something that you're aware of. It may be something that you're unaware of, okay? It's just the way you come across, and you're not even aware that you come across that way. But if people, when they leave your presence or when they get off the phone from you, they must feel better about themselves after their interlude with you than they did before the interlude. Okay? If your goal isn't 100% that everybody that comes into contact with you feels better about themselves after the conversation or after the exposure to you than they did before, you're missing the boat here. Okay? You're missing it completely. After I talk to you, Daniel, do you feel better or worse after I talk to you? Always better, right? Whenever I talk to you, Mark Cox, how do you feel? I talked to you just on the phone. How did you feel after we talked? Good, pretty go, right? Kurt Joyner, after we talk, how do you feel? Better. Why? Because it's just an accident? No, because that's my total 100% unadulterated focus is whenever I speak to another person, is that they feel better about themselves after they talk to me. That's my goal. In every single human interaction that I ever have in my life with every human being, whether it be a waiter, a busboy, a caddy, a person that I work with in my business, my parents, a friend, my number one goal is always, are they going to feel better about themselves after spending time with me? That's how I operate. That's how I think. That's my number one priority. And everything I say, do, talk about, bring up is all related to that in some way or shape or form. Always. No exceptions at any time in my entire life. Always. 100% of the time. That's what I think about. Because see, if you only do it when it's convenient, when you want something out of somebody, then it's not real. If you're only doing it because you see this person as a way to get promoted or a way to win a contest or a way to get you to where you want to go, and it's just not part of who you are, then people will know that. And they'll feel it. And if they feel that, you have no chance with them. They're not going to help you. They're simply not going to help you. And folks, we're not going to get anywhere without people helping them. None of us. They got to feel that. That's got to be the way you operate. That's got to be essentially, fundamentally who you are if you're going to be really successful in a business like Primerica that has a volunteer army, that people are here of their own volition. You got to operate like that or you're going to struggle. You're going to constantly be chasing your tail. You must think leadership if you want to think like a winner. Less than 25% of job holders say they are working at their full potential. 50% say they only put enough effort into their job in order to keep it. Fully 75% say they could be significantly more effective than they currently are. And I bet you a lot of hands would raise up if I asked that question here. And almost 60% of Americans believe they do not work as hard as they used to. So this is my answer, okay, in a short little paragraph. You must work at increasing your leadership ability constantly. The law of the lid, which is John Maxwell idea, says you cannot lead anyone that is at a higher level of leadership than you are. I would recommend that you read John Maxwell's Developing the Leaders Around You, or Developing the Leader Within You, Developing the Leaders Around You, and this 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That would be a fundamental, just small little course that if you're going to be an RVP, if you have not read those books and studied those books and really understood the nature and how that all plays out, then you really are not serious about building a great business in Primerica. Because folks, when we come out of our mother's womb, okay, they don't snap us on the butt and say, okay, you're a leader, you're a school teacher, you're a fireman, you're a cop, you're an engineer. That's not the way it works, okay? Leadership is something that can be learned. And the more attention you pay to leadership, once you learn how to effectively do the business, everything rises and falls on your leadership, on how effective you are as a leader. And if that's not something that you pay an enormous amount of attention to once you become an RVP, then you're missing the boat. because we're never going to build something great without great leadership. We're not, okay? And so you got to focus on that. Hey, life is short, goes by fast. Have you noticed that yet? This year's almost over. I've been doing Primerica for 17 years now, just about. If you would have told me I'd be anywhere for 17 years, I would have said, you're nuts. There's no way I'm going to stay at one place for 17 years. But I'm still here, and I'm still having fun. In fact, I'm having more fun than I've ever had. I'm at a place where it doesn't matter anymore what anybody does. It doesn't matter what you all do. I want you to do well, but honestly, from how I'm going to live my life from this point forward, it doesn't even matter anymore. It's the same. It's going to be the same. So that's a great place to be. And I want you to be there. I want you to be able to stand up in front of a group someday and say, you know what? It doesn't matter what you all do anymore. But look, these are things that I've done. This is how I've done it. This is what, if you do these same things, you'll have the same results. And I'm not naive. I know that you look at this stuff and you hear me talk and you've heard me say the same things over and over again, and you're sick and tired of some of you. You know what? I don't really care. I don't really care, because there's a couple of you in here that you just want to win. You just want a chance, man. You're just looking for an edge. You're just like, I don't care what anybody else does. I'm doing it, man. I'm getting this thing done. I'm gonna win for my family. I'm gonna have freedom. I'm gonna be able to live my life on my terms. I'm not gonna be like everybody else out there, worrying about who's gonna be elected and how that's gonna affect me and all that. I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna make it. I know it's not gonna be easy. I know I'm gonna have challenges. I know most people aren't gonna do it, but you know what? I know also that there's some people that are gonna do it. I know there's enough people out there that want to win bad enough that they'll figure out a way to win. And if I can provide the right kind of example and the leadership example and provide an environment that we can do something great. And that's who every meeting's for. That's when you put on a meeting, you give your heart and soul to that meeting, you give everything you got. It's for those few people. It's not for the 80% of the room that just is going, oh, when's this meeting going to be over so I can get back to my, bitching and complaining about my life. This is for the few people that go, I want to win. I know it's not going to be easy. He makes me uncomfortable, but I know it's the right thing, and I'm going to make a decision to finally do it. And I'm just going to do it, and I'm not going to listen to anybody else, and I'm going to be the master of my own plan, and I'm going to be the captain of my own ship, and I'm going to run my life, and I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do it for me, and I'm not going to pass the buck anymore. I'm simply going to get it done, because I finally realized in my life that performance, that results, is what counts in these United States of America and really the world. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And if I'm not as good as I want to be, I'm going to do whatever I can to get there. And that's all there is to it. And then I'm going to look back 5 or 10 years from now, and I'm going to be so proud of myself and what I did. And I'm going to feel good about what I've done. And I'm going to know that I had an impact on some people. And I'm going to know that my example meant something. And that's it. See you next time.